Hello everybody and welcome back. First of all, I want to apologise. I have been away from YouTube for about a week now, purely because I had a really sore throat. In every other way, I felt absolutely fine. It's just that my throat was really croaky. My Tuesday challenge video I kind of struggled with, and yeah, I work in a classroom, so I didn't want to risk my voice getting any worse, so I just didn't do any videos for the rest of last week. But as you can hear, it's all back to normal now. I'm feeling much better, or my throat is feeling much better now, so I'm back to it, and back to the week 2 challenge for the Buzz into Spring kit. So as usual with the challenge, there are some freebies, so I'm going to share those with you first, but you can probably tell from the freebies what the challenge might be. So we're doing a fill the jar journaling tag, journaling card style challenge. There are lots of different ways that you can do this, so I'll show you a couple of ways today, and I'll probably talk about some other things that you could possibly want to do. But like I said, I want to share the freebies with you first. So these are obviously my freebies. Natalie also has her freebies in her Facebook group, Line.Arrow. So head on over there if you want to grab hers. There are freebies in other groups as well, which will also, I'll show you again the ones that I've designed here, but then Natalie will also have a set of freebies as well for each of the Facebook groups. All the links to the Facebook groups that are taking part are down below. Please remember, if you do take part in the challenge and you're posting your challenge makes, that you are using the hashtag #BuzzIntoSpring, just so it's easy for us to find you. And obviously the more Facebook groups that you post into that are part of the collaboration, the more chances you have of winning something at the end of the month. Again, all of the links to all of the Facebook groups taking part are down below in the description. So the freebies then, these are again my designs. So we have some large jars, and then we've got some different labels, and then some different fussy cuts that you might want to use as well. So these would make great journaling cards or tags. So you can just obviously decorate the back or print on the other side of these. Now with the main kit, we've also made these available in black and white and sepia. So we've done the same for the freebies as well. So this is it in black and white, and then we have sepia. I really love the sepia actually. I think it just looks really, really pretty. I then have a different set of, I think they're more bottles rather than jars, but I thought they'd be really, really cool, and I've got a couple of little labels down here. Now again, I have done these in black and white and sepia, but because obviously the outline of this is quite dark, the only real difference you'll see is on the labels, but they're there anyway. Obviously in black and white it just makes the bottles darker. And then in sepia, as I said, it's mainly the labels that you're going to see the main difference in on these. And then I've just shrunk them down. So you've got the same pages, but they are shrunk down, so they're a smaller version if you wanted some smaller cards or journaling tags. And again, they are in black and white and in sepia. So as well as those freebies, so you'll find those in my Facebook group or on my Ko-fi page. I know some people have trouble downloading from Facebook, so they are on my Ko-fi shop as well, obviously still for free. It does ask you if you want to put an amount in. You just pop in 0 and you get them totally for free. Obviously if you do want to buy me a coffee, that'll be great, but absolutely you don't have to. As I said, there are other Facebook groups that are joining in and hosting the same challenges. So Natalie and I have made exclusive freebies just for them. So if you want the freebies that I'm about to show you, you need to go to these Facebook groups. So this first page is in the Two Sisters Jam Facebook group. So it's just a kind of more, a little bit grungy around the edges, but a really good writing space. So a good journaling page. So that's in the Two Sisters Jam Facebook group. Again, this will be available in black and white and sepia. I haven't printed those off, but if you want them, they will be in the Facebook group in all 3 colours. I've then have some specimen slides and some different bits that you could possibly put in the specimen slides. This freebie you can find in Haystack Crafty Corner. Again, available in black and white and sepia as well, but I have not printed those. But you can see the beautiful sunflowers, Lots of baskets with roses, some children, some honeybees. So lots of fun things going on there. And like I said, 2 different sizes and then some elements to pop in. Similar, I've got these which will be in the Junk Journals, Tutorials and More Facebook group. Just different designs on them and different things that you might pop in the specimen slide. But I really love using specimen slides in my journals, which is why I've made lots of them for the freebies. And then lastly, in Sweet Pea Papers Facebook group, we have this page here, which are all just different elements that you can cut out. Again, you could use them in the specimen slides. They could also go in the filler jar thing for the challenge. So that's all of those. Again, available in black and white and sepia. So those are all of the freebies. Now to have a look at the challenge. So I have already gathered a few bits, cut a few bits and got some bits prepared, only because I know it'd be super boring if you're just watching me cut things out. So I've gone for the smaller sized jars, and I've cut them out a couple of times just so I've got them on repeat, but you'll see why in a moment. I've got smaller ones because the project that I'm doing for the Buzz into Spring kit is a small size. I haven't released my video on that yet. That will be coming. But yeah, I'm doing a project that's a smaller size, and it's not a journal. I wanted to do something a little bit different this time. So yeah, so I've got these in small, and what I was thinking of doing for these, because it's a filler jar, and obviously these are decorated. So unlike the bottles, which are blank on the inside, so unlike these ones where they're blank, for these I was kind of thinking you could maybe obviously cut around the outside, cut a window out, and then you could maybe have some kind of shaker card and do something like that. They are different sizes, so you could perhaps layer them up a little bit. There's space on the front, so you could stick your own decorative paper here, also make a pocket so that you're then filling the jar by popping a pocket on there. So yeah, there was lots of different options. So that's what I was kind of thinking with these, is to kind of make it kind of like a shaker card style. But obviously where these are decorated, I was thinking of other ways that you could fill the jar. So for these two, I'm going to move that one out of the way in a moment. For these two, I'm going to have them back to back. And I'm pleased to say they're not identical, they're not completely symmetrical, but they are pretty much. I mean, it could just be my cutting, if I'm honest. They might supposed to be symmetrical, but I have got a little bit of white at the bottom, but I'm not fussed about that. And then what I was thinking of doing is having like lots of little pockets on the inside that kind of come out as an accordion, if you know what I mean. You'll hopefully see as we kind of glue them together. So these jars, once printed, from top to bottom are just shy of 4 inches, and at the widest part they're just over 2 1/4. So I took a 6 by 6 inch paper pad, and they've got some beautiful patterns on these. So I've got that on one side and this, and I thought the yellow would be quite nice with obviously the kit. And then I've got this one in a green, because again the green goes. So I was thinking of making these, and as I said, I've used a 6 by 6 paper pad, but obviously they have been trimmed down. So I've got a strip that is 5.5 inches tall, folded in half, and then it is without the flaps. I'll just fold those in a second. Without the flaps, it's 2 inches wide, but then my flaps are 3/8 of an inch. So my flaps are 3/8 of an inch. They fold in. So I've now got a 2 inch by, what did I say that was tall? 2 3/4. So it's 2 3/4 high by 2 inches wide, and that's what I've created. I'm going to have 4 of those. So I've got 2 in the yellow. I'm going to have 2 in the green, but I just kind of wanted to show you what I've done. This at the moment is the full 6 inch paper pad. I haven't cut or done anything yet other than put the score lines in. So I folded in the middle. I've got my I know you can't see it because it's patterned paper, but I have got my score lines down here to create my folds. Now obviously I've got 2 lots of flaps going on here, so I need to get rid of one of them. So all I did was kind of cut at an angle up to the top, did the same on the other side, cut at an angle to where the fold is, and then I just cut up from the bottom. Now, like I said, it is a bit tricky to see with this patterned paper. It was a little bit easier on the yellow actually. But I just cut up there just to get rid of that, and then you kind of end up with that shape. I'm going to do the same on the other side. I'm just going to fold it this way just so I can see a bit more of a crease. Okay, get rid of those bits. And that creates my next pocket like that. Okay, so they're my little pockets. Now this one does need to be trimmed down a little bit because, as I say, I did use my 6-inch paper pad, but I do need to take some off. So I'm just going to grab my trimmer. And it was supposed to be 2 3/4, wasn't it? I'm just going to line that up and cut that top bit off. And now hopefully they are all the same. Yes, they are. Awesome. Right, so let's move that out of the way a minute. Okay, so now I'm just going to glue some bits together. Box of paper clips here, so I'm just going to pop that on there just to weigh it down a little bit. Right, and then I need to do the same with the others. Okay, so I'm also thinking I want a thumb notch in the top of those, but before I do anything else, I want to back these because at the moment obviously they're stark white, and I've printed on 160 GSM, so it is still quite flexible, so I want it a little bit stiffer. So I do have some book page here. I'm just going to move that out of the way, and I'm going to be using this for the next one as well. Let's have a think. So I think I'm just going to glue these onto this page. Okay, and there's 2. I'm just going to let that dry for a second. Right, while that's drying, let's bring these back in. And I'm going to use my 1-inch circle punch. And I'm just going to punch out some little notches out of these. So I'm just going to line up roughly where the middle is and clip away. Now I kind of want them about the same, so I'm going to use that one as a guide. so that I get them in roughly the same place. Okay, I'm just going to keep doing that on these. I've got bits of paper flying at me from all directions. Right, so now I'm going to do a little bit of inking. Right, okay, so that's those. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to have them alternating. So yellow, green, yellow, green. And then I'm going to add the glue to these already. All it is a line down the middle, and you're making a T. So line at the bottom, one up the middle. You stick the next one to it. And repeat, line down the middle and at the bottom. Down the middle and the bottom. Right, that's the last one. So I'm just going to put that back under my paper clips just to kind of weigh it down. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut these out, and then because I like stitching, I'm going to sew around the edges of both of these. I'm going to do that off camera because my sewing machine doesn't come under, it doesn't fit on the desk underneath my phone. So yeah, I'm going to nip away and do that, cut these both out, sew around the edges, and then I'll be back and we'll stick these all together. Right, okay, so that's those two sewn. Now I want to show you a little bit of a trick. So with a fine liner, you might be able to see that some stitches have skipped. So what I'm going to do is, just to make it look a bit more like stitches, I'm just literally going to draw the stitches in. And then from a distance, you wouldn't even really know that that's a missing stitch. And I'm just going to do that on these as well, because these have also missed. So if this ever happens, you don't need to panic. Just fill them in and nobody will ever know. Unless, of course, they were up close and inspecting. But generally, people aren't inspecting your work that closely. But yeah, so that's all I'm going to do, is just draw in my lines. Okay, so that's them sewn. So now we need to get these stuck in. So as you can see, I've got my kind of accordion fold there. I've now got all of these pockets where I can put different things in. Having that kind of T of glue allows it to expand a lot easier. So that's why it's best to have that. Otherwise it doesn't open so well, because obviously if these are stuck together, it's then very difficult to get to individual pockets. So that just allows for that. So this one's going to get stuck in here. I'm just making sure that obviously it's within the jar. So for this back pocket, just seeing, do I want it completely stuck down? No, I think I'm going to do the same thing. So I'm going to do it on the T. So I'm going to go down the middle and glue at the bottom. Okay, and then I'm going to do the same on this one. Now this one's a little bit trickier to line up because obviously I'm not going to be able to see it. I'm going to try and line up one jar with the other jar and hopefully do it that way instead. Okay, like that. Just noticed there was another stitch there, so I'm just going to draw that one in. Okay, so then this opens up and then we've got all of the different pockets. I'm not going to pull on it anymore because obviously I want that to dry. I will put a closure on it as well, but I've just noticed I didn't actually ink around my jar, so I'm going to do that now. Okay, and then on the other side. And then for a closure, I was just thinking of using a piece of twine, and then I'm going to actually wrap it around the jar neck. I was working out how much I'm going to need to actually tie a little bow. I'm probably super over exaggerating here with the amount of string I need, but I'd much rather have too much than too little. Okay, and then that's my little jar. So thinking with this one, again using some of the book pages, but creating sort of layered pockets with this. So that's what I think I'm going to do. I don't want the fish. So I'm going to use this, I think, again, just to kind of create a nice sort of background. I kind of want to get the yellows in because obviously the kit is very yellow. We've got the sunflowers. So do I want that bit at the bottom? Not that you're going to see it actually, are you? Because I'm obviously going to have it as pockets. So unless I use this bit as the pockets. So I might use then instead some of the writing. Yeah, so I might use some of the writing then as the actual background. And then I can use the nice floral bits as the pockets. So I'm just going to make sure that you're in frame for a start. I've zoomed you in a little bit, that's what's thrown me off. So stick that down. I'm going to cut this out. Right, okay, so that's that. And then, like I said, I want some layered pockets. So that's going to make a nice pocket, and then up to that butterfly. So I'm just going to grab my trimmer just so I can straighten up some of these edges a little bit. Okay, how wide? So I need a little bit of a lip on each side just so I can obviously help create the pocket a little bit. I'm going to want a little bit at the bottom as well. I can figure that out in a moment. So maybe about there. What have we got? So if I go for 3 inches, that seems to be a good width. We'll go for 3. Okay, so if that's 3 inches, right. And I think I'm going to cut it just where those flowers are. And then this one's going to be a little bit tall. I'm going to do it where that butterfly is. Yeah, I think 2 pockets. 2 pockets is enough. So I'm probably not going to need that butterfly, but I can save it for something else. So let's have a look. So I'm going to use my jar as a guide. And I'm just going to fold over where it needs to be folded. Okay, so that's going to be 1 pocket. I'm just going to snip it ever so slightly at the edges. Might do the same at the bottom. Yeah, and actually this one, just bringing it in ever so slightly, because obviously before I've wrapped it around the jar, it's not obviously going around the jar, so I'm just bringing it in ever so slightly. But it obviously needs to wrap around the bottom as well. So I'm going to cut the same shape. Right, so that's that bottom pocket. Right, the next one then will be the butterfly. So again, I'm going to use the jar as a bit of a guide. And then just put it in slightly further. Just check the width of that. I think that's a bit better. So that's how my pockets are going to look. So I'm going to stick this one down first. Again, I'm just going to snip in a little bit on the edges. And I think maybe just to show it's a pocket, have a little notch in. I want to be careful with that butterfly though. I'm just going to come in ever so slightly. And again, I'm going to use the other one as a guide so that they're in the same spot and they're the same depth. Okay, so stick this one down first. And some glue along the bottom. And this one I'm sticking just before it starts to kind of curve at the top. Okay, so we've got that one there, and then this one at the bottom. Okay, so that's how it looks then. Right, I think the only thing I need to do now is a little bit of inking on this one. Okay, so that's that one. So we've got 2 pockets on the back and then that on the front. So again, you could put bits of paper in there, or again, I'm probably going to cut out some of the fussy guts to pop in there as well. So here are my 2 jars. Now I have gone and fussy cut some bits out from the freebies. So we've got this one here that has the honey label, and then on the back I've just put some different bits and pieces that were in the freebies or the kit into the pockets. You can of course write on the back of each of these, so that does kind of tick the box of having some journaling space, but just, yeah, a fun little card or tag that you can pop into a pocket inside your journal, but then you've also got some extra writing spaces as well, so that's fun. And then we've got this one. So again, I've just cut out one of the labels that's from the freebies. You can obviously jot a little expiry date just to kind of make that a little bit more fun. I haven't done any other decorations around the jar because I think the paper is just pretty on its own. But again, you kind of undo this, and then to fill the pockets this time, I've just added different strips of tea stained paper. So I thought that'd be great for just like little notes or things that might be included again in your journal writing. Now, as I said, I'm not using these in my journal. I'm going to be doing something slightly different for my project, and I'm not sure if I want to kind of try and attach this string permanently in some way. I'll have to see how it fits in with my project, but I'm hoping that this tutorial or challenge demonstration has just given you some different ideas on how you can use these jars. Nathalie will obviously have her own video as well, so make sure you go and check hers out. I'm sure she's done something absolutely amazing with her jars, as she always does. But yeah, these were just my thoughts when I was kind of creating them of how I wanted to use them for my project. So just a reminder that if you are taking part and you are completing these challenges, you are using the hashtag #BuzzIntoSpring. Try and post in as many of the Facebook groups taking part as possible, because as I said, at the end of the month there is a prize drawing in each of the groups. So obviously the more groups you enter into, the more chance you have of winning. Do have a play around with these, do experiment. I'm sure there are so many different ways that you can use these. These were just a couple of ideas. As I said, you could also do some kind of shaker tag as well, which was also something that I was thinking of, and something I might still try with the bottles. Go and check out the design team as well. They are also working with the kits and with the freebies. So it's always great to go and get some inspiration from those ladies as well. Well, thank you very much for joining me today, and I will see you all in the next crafty video. Bye for now.